Using the Teacher's Toolkit. Welcome to this video looking at how to use the Teacher's Toolkit, the administration tool for teachers or those who control who use Read and Write. The Teacher's Toolkit must be installed on first installation of Read and Write. There are a number of functions that can be accomplished using the Teacher's Toolkit. You can choose which features are available to students. This is particularly important when using Read and Write in exams. Configure student settings. Monitor the progress of students. Analyze usage patterns. Control access to Read and Write. To start the Teacher's Toolkit, simply click on Start on the Windows desktop and start to type Toolkit. The link to the Teacher's Toolkit will appear. Click on it to open. This warning screen will appear. It lets you know that it is recommended that all users are logged off before you use the toolkit. So it would be easier if you use the Teacher's Toolkit before or after class. However, if you need to use the toolkit while users are logged on, there is a way you can instruct them to log off. But at this stage, just click OK. The Teacher's Toolkit will open. Notice at the very bottom of the Teacher's Toolkit window, you have the option to manage logged on users. Here, you will see if any user is logged in to Read and Write. If there were users logged on, you can send a message to log off from here. Or you can log users off yourself here. When all users are logged off, you can proceed with using the Teacher's Toolkit. There are a number of different tabs across the top. These open different settings, allowing you to alter and individualize how the software performs for each student or group of students. Let's look at each in turn. The first tab is User Settings. Before you start to alter the settings for users, you first need to make sure they are listed in the Teacher's Toolkit. Here in Groups, you will see that All Users is selected. There is a list of all users shown below. If a student is missing from this list, you need to speak to your network administrator. We will cover how to add users later in this video. When you can see the students you wish to work with, then you can proceed. First, let's set up a group of students. This helps you organize users, so it is easier to work with them. So, for example, you could set up an exam group to have all the students who are going to use Read and Write in an exam. Or you could set up a class group to have all the students from the same class. Let's set up a group of students who are going to use Read and Write in an exam. Click on New. Give the group a name and add any notes. Then click OK. Now you have created a new group called Summer Exams. However, when you click on it, you will see there is no one in the group yet. Let's pick who is going to join the group. Go back to the All Users group. Click the box beside any student you want to add to the group. Click on the drop-down menu here and select the group you want to move your students to. In this case, Summer Exams. Then click on Apply. Now, when you select the Summer Exams group, you will see the students you had chosen to move to this group. This is how you can set up groups of users to make them easier to manage. We will come back to here shortly to show you how you can alter what features a group has access to. The next tab is Feature Sets. Here, you can choose which functions your students have access to. This is particularly useful for exam situations where you want to restrict access to certain functions within Read and Write. There are already a couple of different feature sets created for you. But let's create a new one. Give it a name. Now select the new feature set you have created. By default, everything is switched on. You can disable any feature simply by unchecking the box beside it. The Enable Options dialog box simply allows or prevents students altering the settings within the software. Again, you can disable all or some of these as required by unchecking the boxes beside them. Now click Save. Having created this new feature set, you will now have to assign it to whichever student or students need to use it. So return to the User Settings tab. First, you need to select the students you want to use the feature set. Since it is all the summer exam group, you can easily select them using this option. Now select the feature set here. Then click Apply. Remember to save your changes. Now when the summer exams group start Read and Write, they will only have access to the features you have enabled for them in the exams feature set. The next tab is Prediction. Here, you can add words and phrases to Read and Write and distribute to selected students, so that the prediction feature will predict relevant words for the subject the student is studying. It uses plain text files, so make sure you have created the files in this format before proceeding. So let's add some geographical terms to assist students studying geography. Click here. Find the file that has the terms you want to add. Remember, it has to be a plain text file, so make sure you have saved it in this format. Browse to where you have the file. Select it and click on Open. You can add additional files if you wish by doing the same process again. Importantly, you can spell check the words as they are learned. Now give the prediction file a description and name. Select the student or students you want to have access to this prediction file. Now click here. After a short time, you will get this message. This means the prediction file has been created and distributed to your students. The next time they log in and use prediction, the new terms will be available for them. At a later stage, you may wish to disable this file from a student. To do this, simply select the student and click here. Select the student. Uncheck the prediction file you no longer want them to have access to. Click here to apply the change. The next tab is the Dictionary. Here, you can add new words to the dictionary that will be used by all students. Simply enter the word into the Enter a New Dictionary word box. Tick this box if you want to add the word to the custom spelling dictionary. This means that it will not be identified as a spelling mistake when your students use their Read and Write spell check. Add your own definition. Add any synonyms for the word here. When you are finished, click on Save. The word will be added to the dictionary for all students. If at any stage you wish to delete added definitions, you can, using this option. The next tab is the Say Like. This is where you can alter the way Read and Write says a word. By altering the pronunciation in the Teacher's Toolkit, it makes the same change for all students. This saves each student having to individually alter the pronunciation. Type in the word here. Now enter the phonetic way you wish the word pronounced here. Click Save. This function is useful in dealing with people's names, place names, different dialects, and accents. The next tab is Spelling Logs. Here, you can review the spelling errors of any student who uses the spell check in Read and Write. The log will have the error, its correction, the type of error, and the date it was made. If you wish, you can view the spelling log in a Microsoft Word document. This is useful as you can print the lists for future use in the classroom, for example, as individualized spelling tests or homework. The next tab is the Activity Logs. Here you can see how each of your students have used Read and Write. The log records the date of login, the duration, and how many words that were typed. Here is the percentage of errors. And this column has learned words, which is the words looked up in the dictionary. The activity logs allows you to monitor how each student uses Read and Write. Again, these can be printed out to keep a record if required. If you scroll over, you will come to the final tab, which is Import Users. This is a very important tab, as it is used by your network administrator to enter the names of the students who are going to be using Read and Write. They can do this in one of two ways. They can run an Active Directory import tool. This is a utility designed to help network administrators quickly and easily create user accounts in Read and Write using the Windows accounts already set up in Active Directory. Alternatively, they can import users from a CSV file. This type of file is like a spreadsheet, listing each of the students with their login name and password. Your network administrator will understand which of these two options suits best. This checkbox enables the creation of user accounts when someone logs in to the network using a Windows login. Before we leave the Teacher's Toolkit, let's look at shared IDs. There may be certain situations where students do not have individual Microsoft Windows accounts. Instead, the computer is started using just one login account, which all students use. It is important that Read and Write recognizes when this is the case. This can be done using Read and Write's Teacher's Toolkit. To do this, go to the User Settings tab. Here, click on New. Enter the shared ID that all the students use. This is the Windows login username. And then click on Create. Although your students share a login to Windows, you can now create individual Read and Write accounts. This means that you can individualize the software to each student. Let's add one to see how this is done. Click here. Make sure this option is selected. Now enter a username and password for the user. You can select the feature set you want for them here. and put them in a group here. This account will now appear in the user list, be in the Summer Exams group, and will have the Exams feature set.